What's up everybody, it's Joe here with Joseph Lake Photography, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the fact that it looks like Congress finally did it. They passed the CCP Drones Act. Let's talk about what that means for folks who are flying DJI drones and what it'll mean for being able to buy drones in the future. I'm Joe, this is my channel, Joseph Lake Photography. I'm a portrait and landscape photographer here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and one of the things that I use for my work is drones. I fly a Mavic 2 Pro, and it sounds like I'm gonna be able to keep flying that drone, but here are the major details. The National Defense Appropriations and Authorizations Act, I think is what it is. It's the NDAA. This is a bill that has to pass every year here in the United States to fund our military. And well, it's a bill that has to pass. So a lot of our legislators, they kind of attach pet things to this bill. And one of the things that got attached was the CCP Drones Act by Lynn Stefanik of the state of New York. Takes an interesting route. It doesn't just say all DJI products are banned. It doesn't say that all drones are banned. It doesn't say that all Chinese companies are banned, and it has nothing to do with the incoming Trump administration or their policies as it might relate to tariffs. This is purely about the Federal Communications Commission. So this bill effectively gives the FCC the ability to add DJI and their drones specifically to what they call their entities list. And what the entities list does is it says these are entities that effectively we can't work with. This is already something that was done with the Commerce Department, which effectively eliminates the ability for federal monies to go to DJI products. And I believe that was done through the Federal Trade Commission. But the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, they manage the airwaves here in the United States. And that's what our cell phones work on. That's what our Wi-Fi uses. Basically anything that's wireless and really anything that emits any kind of signal has to get through the FCC, which is why normally when there's a product that's about to be announced or released, we know it when it comes through the FCC to get approved. So drones that are already flying today, whether it's my Mavic 2 Pro or if it's the Air 3S that was just announced, those products have already been approved by the FCC and they will continue to be available. Maybe not as much for purchase, but you will be able to use this product without any issue. So if you already own one, you are fine. If you're maybe chomping at the bit for the Mavic 4, or if you're hoping for the Air 4, or the Mini 5, or any of the drones that we have, we're pretty much expecting in the next 12 to 18 months, those potentially would not get approval from the FCC, which means they can't be sold in the United States. Now, you could potentially purchase one and then bring it into the United States, but then you as the user are violating FCC rules. It's like broadcasting a pirate radio station, and you would be subject to fines and probably jail time. Now, my understanding of this law is that drones that are already available would continue to be available. So that's where, again, it gets really kind of confusing because there's all of these different things going on. We've got the CCP Drones Act, we've got Trump tariffs, and we have the issue that DJI is still trying to resolve with Customs and Border Protection. So Chinese products that are coming in are being held, DJI specifically, are being held not far from here in the Port of Los Angeles, and Customs and Border Protection not letting them into the United States for sale. And the reason they claim is because the DoD has identified DJI as a military drone manufacturer, and specifically a Chinese military drone manufacturer. And that's partly because of the fact that folks in Ukraine have been using drones, all sorts of drones, DJI drones, really any drones they can get their hands on, to repel the Russian military. So for all of that, CBP says no. It doesn't really matter if you have waterproof shoes if the water is higher than the tops of your shoes. So now, what happens now? Well, the bill has passed the House, and I'll be quite honest, it's coming to the end of the year. This bill has to pass. So there's a very high likelihood that when it gets to the Senate, it will be passed. And I've heard nothing from the Biden administration that would indicate that they are not going to sign this bill, which means that once it's in place, in 2025, you would be able to purchase current, already approved by the FCC drones from DJI, but after that, done. Anything new would not get approved by the FCC for use on American airwaves. And quite frankly, as a person who's owned a handful of DJI drones and uses them all the time for my work, that really is kind of a bummer. And in the press statements from Congress, they've indicated, especially Elaine Stefanik's office has claimed, has said that it has nothing to do with Chinese economy. It has nothing to do with trying to prevent Chinese companies from being successful in the United States. They legitimately claim that there is a security and privacy concern in the US with DJI drones. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with DJI specifically or how people are using the drones when they're here in the United States. One thing to note is that DJI is 6% owned by the Chinese government, right? So 6% of the shares in that company are owned by China. And the concern is that that gives them leverage and access to effectively kind of backdoor into that company to access data like flight logs and locations, and I don't know, maybe even video. I'm not really sure. And I've not seen a whole lot of reporting on what security information Congress is using to make this determination. But for right now, it seems pretty clear that before the end of the year, we're going to see the CCP Drones Act signed into law by the president. We've had a lot of ups and downs here, but I think it's going to happen, which means for you, like, how do we move forward? It means that if you're looking to upgrade your drone, if you're looking to buy a new drone, you still can. Anything on the market now is going to be available to you. Anything new, probably not going to be available here in the United States. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this situation, or if you think if it's going to happen or not. Feel free to prove me wrong. I'd be so glad if this doesn't happen. But let me know down in the comments. If this is the kind of thing that you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you found this video informative, go ahead and hit like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.